The Fish Who Wanted to Write a Poem. Deep beneath the shimmering surface of a vast blue lake lived a little fish named Finley. Finley was not like the other fish who darted through the reeds, raced in swirling schools, and played hide and seek in the shadows. Finley loved quiet moments, watching sunlight dance on the water and listening to the gentle hush of the currents. More than anything, Finley dreamed of writing a poem that would capture the magic of the lake and the feelings in his tiny fish heart. But there was a problem. Finley had never seen a fish write anything before. Fish, as far as he knew, did not write poems. They blew bubbles, flicked their tails, and sometimes made patterns in the sand, but no one ever spoke of words or verses or rhymes. Still, the dream sparkled inside him like the glint of a silver scale. One day, as Finley floated alone near a patch of waving water lilies, he whispered to himself, "I wish I could write a poem. Just one, just to see how it feels." The lake was silent, as if listening. The next morning, Finley woke with a determined swish of his tail. If he could not write with a pencil or paper, maybe he could find another way. He swam to his friend, Shelley the wise old turtle, who was sunning herself on a mossy log. "Shelley," Finley asked, "have you ever written a poem?" Shelley blinked her gentle eyes and smiled. "I've never written a poem, but I do love stories. Sometimes I scratch shapes in the mud with my claws. Maybe you could try drawing your poem in the sand." Finley liked the idea. He zipped to the sandy shore and tried to wiggle his tail to make swirly patterns. He made circles and squiggles, but none of it felt quite right. The patterns faded as the water moved, and his poem seemed to vanish as quickly as he created it. Finley felt a bit sad, but he did not give up. Next, he visited Benny, the playful beaver, who was busy building a new dam from sturdy sticks. "Benny, do you know how to write a poem?" Finley asked. Benny paused, his paws full of twigs. "I've never written a poem, but I build things from sticks. Maybe you could arrange pebbles or shells to make your poem." Finley thanked Benny and set off to gather tiny stones and shiny shells from the lake bed. He stacked them in lines and made patterns, but the poem in his heart didn't look like the rows of pebbles he made. It was beautiful, but it didn't feel like words. Finley wondered if he would ever find a way. He drifted among his friends, asking each one. Lily the dragonfly said she danced in the air and painted with her wings. Milo the muskrat sang as he swam. Each had their own way of creating and sharing, but none had written a poem. That night, Finley gazed up at the moon rippling above the water. He let his feelings drift up and out, imagining how his poem would sound. He thought about the wonders of the lake, the cool rush of water, the whisper of the reeds, the laughter of his friends, and the gentle hush of night. Suddenly, Finley had an idea. Maybe he couldn't write a poem with a pencil, but he could speak one aloud. He could let his words swim out into the world. The next morning, Finley called his friends together. Shelley the turtle, Benny the beaver, Lily the dragonfly, Milo the muskrat, and even the shy minnows who darted behind the rocks. Finley flicked his tail, took a deep breath, and began to speak. In the blue lake's gentle fold, sunlight dances bright and bold. Reeds that whisper, shadows deep. Water lilies fall asleep. I am Finley, small and new, dreaming dreams the fish once knew. Bubbles rise and laughter flows. In every heart a poem grows. Though I cannot write in sand, or build with shell or beaver's hand, I sing my poem, let it fly, a splash of hope beneath the sky. As Finley finished, the lake seemed to glow with happiness. His friends listened, their eyes wide and shining. Shelley smiled her slow, wise smile. Benny clapped his paws together. Lily zipped circles above the water, her wings sparkling. Milo hummed a tune, and the minnows twirled in delight. Finley grinned, his heart full. He had written a poem, not with a pencil or on paper, not in the sand or with pebbles, but with his voice, his feelings, and his dreams. And now, his poem belonged to everyone. From that day on, Finley made poems for every occasion. When the rain fell in silvery sheets, he sang a poem about the rhythm of the drops. When the sun rose bright and warm, he spoke verses about golden light. On quiet nights, he whispered lullabies to the sleepy fish. Soon, other creatures began to make their own poems. Shelley scratched gentle stories in the mud. Benny stacked pebbles in shapes that told tales. Lily danced patterns above the water, and Milo sang tunes that sounded like poetry. Finley learned that there are many ways to make a poem. Sometimes you speak it, sometimes you sing it, sometimes you dance it, or build it, or simply dream it. What matters is sharing your heart and letting your feelings flow. One afternoon, as Finley watched the clouds drift across the sky, he realized that poems are everywhere. In the ripples of the lake, the laughter of friends, and the dreams of a little fish who wanted to write. And so the lake was never the same. It was filled with poems, in every splash and every song, in every pattern and every dance. Finley was proud, knowing that he had found his voice and helped others find theirs too. Deep beneath the shimmering surface, in a world full of wonder, a little fish named Finley reminded everyone that you don't need to write on paper to share your dreams. You only need a heart full of hope, a voice to tell your story, and friends to listen. The end.